A very good evening to one and all present here. We welcome you all to today's webinar on the topic Waterproofing, a master design solution for concrete durability. This webinar is organized by Civil Engineering and Construction Review, powered by Revered Media. We are honored to welcome our distinguished panel for the day. Please welcome our speaker, Dr. S.K. Manjrekar, Chairman and Managing Director of Sunanda Specialty Coatings Private Limited. Our panelists, Dr. Sanjay Bahadur, Chief Strategy and Business Development Officer, CC Businesses from Pidilite Industries Limited. Mr. Rajesh Joshi, Managing Director of STP Limited. Mr. Rajiv Gupta, Business Head, Construction Chemicals from ECMAS Construction Chemicals Private Limited. Our moderator for the day, Engineer Nilotpal Kar, Managing Director, India, Vice President, Marketing Management, South Asia and Regional Training Academy, APAC, from Master Builders Solution. We would like to extend our gratitude to the esteemed panel for taking out their time from their busy schedules and making it to the webinar. Before we move on with the speaker presentation, we would like to introduce to you CE and CR and Revered Media, a unit of CE and CR.
Civil Engineering and Construction Review, a leading infrastructure monthly on methods, materials and machinery, celebrating 35 years of publication.
Civil Engineering and Construction Review provides a valuable, informative, unmatched high-quality content since 1988. Most circulated magazine with a readership of over 150,000 across India. And a global outreach, in over 17 countries.
Awarded the prestigious Best News Magazine, by CIDC. Best Publication, Award by the ACCEI. And designated for International Quality Summit Award, IQS in Gold category, in Paris by BID.
We cover 25 plus integrated topics in our monthly journal. Our first ever CE and CR Annual Awards was held on the 17th of June, with huge industry turnout and nominations. Stay tuned to catch the next award show in June-July 2023.
Subscribe to the most reliable, informative and premium magazine in India. Advertise with CE and CR. Let us help you grow your business.
Get social with us. CE&CR currently has 56,000 plus followers on Facebook and 20,000 plus industry professionals on LinkedIn. No one around us in India. Introducing to you all, our ventures, Seismic Academy and revered media.
Witness CE&CR's ambitious collaboration with Hilta India to pioneer the coveted Seismic Academy Journal, an initiative to sensitize and disseminate seismic knowledge to the industry at large. Our first edition released in November 22.
Introducing to you all, revered media, a 360-degree logistic solution of business events.
Revered Media is an independent, full-service, professional logistics solutions company for business events with specialization in end-to-end event project management, powered exclusively by professionals with over 30 years of field experience in the B2B segment.
Types of events we specialize in are as follows.
We have organized over 42 webinars and physical events so far.
Now, we would like to introduce our moderator for the day, Engineer Nilot Polkar.
Engineer Nilot Polkar, Managing Director, India, and Vice President, Market Management, South Asia and Regional Training Academy, APAC, from Masters Builder Solutions. A civil engineering graduate with over 3 decades of experience in the field of cement, concrete, and construction chemicals across the Asia-Pacific and the Middle East. Engineer Nilot Polkar has been associated with several iconic infrastructure and real estate projects. He has contributed in different capacities, including technical, sales, strategic marketing, and product profit and loss management over the years. He has multiple research papers to his credit in the field of concrete technology, highlighted in various conferences across Asia, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, including one at RILEM, Paris.
Sir, we are pleased to have you today with us. Over to you now.
Thank you very much. At the onset, a very warm and good afternoon to everybody. And it's really, I would say, a matter of privilege that CE&CR has requested me to be the moderator for this great topic, which is waterproofing. And I think it's also, subtitled very eloquently, a master design solution for concrete durability. So you have design, you have solution, you have concrete, and you have durability. And of course, you have master. So it encompasses, I think, the true definition of what today's afternoon is going to be. Pretty exciting, and I'm sure everyone is with rapt attention to hear the who's who in the construction chemical industry. Without further ado, let me introduce the speaker, Dr. Manjrekar, who is very well known to me personally as well. And Dr. Manjrekar, who's the chairman and managing director of Sunanda Specialty Coatings Private Limited, and currently managing more than 300 staff all over India and associates abroad. He has carried out academic research from 1970 to 77 at Mumbai University, published 15 technical articles, and with 41 years of experience of leading applied research and development at Sunanda, has authored 200 technical articles. Dr. Manjrekar has provided the American Concrete Institute certification training and has been invited for education talks throughout India and abroad and received multiple awards. His key research areas have been soil stabilization, a very interesting topic about internal curing of concrete, which I'm sure everybody is, eager to hear as well sometime. Underwater concreting in the 3rd generation, corrosion inhibiting admixture, and many more. So that is for Dr. Manjrekar. Welcome, sir, to today's afternoon. And
Nirmal sir, are you there? I think there has been any connection network problem.
I think we are lost, Nilupal.
We are trying to contact him, sir. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm back. Sorry for that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, I think there was a temporary glitch, but I think I just covered the rest of Mr. Bahadur's CV. So sorry, Dr. Bahadur. Dr. Sanjay Bahadur is currently designated as the Chief Strategy and Business Development Officer, Construction Chemicals Business of Pidilite. He's a leader of over 36 years experience in the field of building materials, considerable strategic sales and marketing skills, and extensive experience developing business and markets. And you will hear a lot of it during the panel discussion after the main speaker, Dr. Manjrekar's presentation. He has been responsible for several joint ventures and acquisitions in the field of the construction chemical business for Pidilite industry. He has received quite a number of awards, and mainly I think the ICI award for the outstanding service to concrete technology 2000, conferred the degree of Doctorate of Philosophy honoris causa in the field of civil and construction engineering by Singhania University in the November 2013, and Fabulous 101 Quality Leader in the World presented by World Quality Congress in 2019. So welcome, Dr. Bahadur. Then we have Mr. Rajesh Joshi, Managing Director of STP Limited. He has more than 3 decades of experience in paints and construction chemical industry. In the past, he has worked for Sika India Private Limited as Business Director, Flooring and Building Finishing, and Executive Director of Parex Apurva India. Earlier worked with Mapai Construction Products India as Vice President for Ceramic and Building Line. In the paints industry, he has a matching experience with Jensen Nicholson and Shalimar Paints, and he has done his post-graduation in management studies, MMS from Mumbai University. And our next panelist, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, an engineering graduate with a post-graduation MBA in business management from Ajmer University, having over 2 decades of work experience in various building materials and construction chemicals. He has worked with some well-known Indian organizations and MNCs such as Newchem Limited, Saint-Gobain, Pidilite Industries, Chryso in various capacities. He's currently working as the business head for ECMAS Construction Chemicals Private Limited. He has been instrumental in setting up construction systems business as Criso India and at ECMAS. Over the years, he has delivered various technical presentations, imparted training, and published more than 30 technical papers in various magazines and journals. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Manjrekar, Dr. Bahadur, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, and Mr. Rajesh Joshi.
Thank you.
So we start with the presentation of Dr. Manjrekar.
Thank you, Nilotpal. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody, India time. To all the participants. Greetings to moderator Nilotpal, Kar, distinguished panelist Sanjay Bahadur, Rajesh Joshi, and Rajiv Gupta. I'm very pleased to be with you this afternoon and share my observations, thoughts, and learnings. Some housekeeping. The slides here are borrowed from the company I work for, and at few places, the product names could not be removed. Waterproofing of structures is very huge proposition to deal with due to large variety of structures. For example, some of the structures where one is involved are water treatment facilities, sewage treatment structures, water reservoirs, locks and dams, basement walls and floors, parking structures, tunnels, marine structures, bridge decks, and many more. Each needs different approach and specification. Everyone is aware about the drastic ill effects of inadequate waterproofing, which involves destructive weathering of concrete, steel, masonry, interiors, natural stones, and what have you. Someone has observed that in numeric terms, water destructs more buildings than war or natural disasters. Controlling groundwater, rainwater, surface water, and moisture requires thorough consideration to interface between multitude of construction systems. I repeat, multitude of construction systems involved in single building. Thus, successful waterproofing involves designing and choosing need-based systems to counter ingress of water. Hence the title, Waterproofing, Master Design Solution for Concrete Durability. When I was approached for this lecture with the title, 3 keywords struck me. 1, concrete durability. 2, waterproofing. And 3, master design solution. Master design means the seamless interconnection of each step of activity to one another. That also means one single non-faulty continuous envelope around the structure. Friends, next 6 to 7 slides are not connected directly with the subject, but I am just showing it to you in order to impress upon all of us the ferocity of the subject that we are talking about. Why waterproofing? Some alarming data. We are in world news. Doesn't leave alone anybody. Road, rail work, air, airports. This is the annual precipitation of India. So in such conditions, design waterproofing becomes imperative. Hence the title of this webinar, Master Design Solution for Concrete Durability. We are going to more stress on design part of it than the specifics. I thought about overview and just selected 10 logical points coming out of each other. So these are 10 points. In the point number 6 over here, though there are some systems chosen here for description, for elaboration. That does not mean the waterproofing systems begin here and end here. There is plethora of waterproofing system, waterproofing chemicals, and as I said earlier, it is need-based, chosen properly as per design, but but the basic principles remain the same, and that's why we are considered these systems over here. Concrete leaks, why? He's no more, but I have privilege to be his friend, Dr. Neville, and his graph is very well known. I mean, at 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, you get no permeability, and then later on it increases, enhances. Oh, I'm going, sorry. And then here, capillary discontinuity is the key to waterproofing, and the graph shows here that what is the time that is taken to get discontinuity or begin discontinuity in capillaries at various water cement ratios. And also we have to look at the fact that any concrete at the surface it is comparatively weaker. Then we have less weaker surface inside, and then we have strong surface outside. In short, it means that we need to take care of the surface of the concrete. Another dimension of leakages, though this dimension has been highlighted over here, that does not mean that it is unsurmountable. It can be definitely taken care of. But then we have now high-grade cements. We have fine particle size of cement. That's why then more number of particles to react. Because of that, more chemical reaction, and this chemical reaction is exothermic, heat evolving, more generation of heat, more shrinkage, in addition to the chemical shrinkage that is the necessity of the hydration, and that leads to more development of cracks. And this is the pictures, and we have to deal with this. So can impermeable concrete be plan A? Just one slide here. During hydration of cement, the capillaries within the concrete section get discontinuous, either partially, majorly, or completely. And this blocking is done mainly by the formation of tobermarite gel or CSH gel. But it is very interesting to note that tobermarite formation is next to zero when it crosses water cement 0.6, 0.65, and it goes on increasing inversely. It is inversely proportional to the water cement ratio. The title was Principles of Waterproofing Envelope. Whenever I have thought about waterproofing in last so many decades, I always get reminded of that fable by Aesop, that elephant and seven blinds. Whatever part that comes in the hand of a blind or visually challenged person, he thinks or we think the waterproofing is that. It is not so. Let us see. For example, in the structure, there are two parts. One is below grade and one is above grade. Below grade, of course, the capillary action, rising dampness, and many others come. Then above grade, waterproofing. Somebody would think that the waterproofing is connected with the roofing waterproofing. Somebody would think waterproofing is connected with flashing waterproofing. Somebody would think that waterproofing is connected with diverted system. Somebody would think that external facades will be the full waterproofing. Is it the case? This is not the case. The case is it has to be totally, completely, faultlessly enveloped right from substructure to the top structure, and that's where the waterproofing becomes successful. There are two principles in waterproofing. 90 and 1%. This means 90% of water intrusion problems are in 1% of total exterior surface area of structure. The constitute industry members like contractors, designers, consultants, manufacturers have understood this 91% principle, and they are giving due importance to properly design. These two words are very important: termination and transition detailing. Termination and transition detailing. Manufacturers provide appropriate details with their specifications, and the general contractors must provide the coordination and oversight of numerous subcontractors involved in a single envelope for the completed product to perform as expected. Waterproofing should not be considered as a stand-alone contract. It should be part of integrated activities of entire structure. Second, 99% principle. Approximately 99% of waterproofing leaks are attributable to a cause other than the material or system failure. As the time has passed, in last decades, I have seen the materials and the systems are getting more and more strong by themselves, though individually. And there are several checks, there are several testing procedures, there are several statistical uh, data, and then a very, very regular checkup. Again, the technological developments are so many that the materials have been replaced by better materials. In the process, there is less chance likelihood of these materials to be failure, and that's why again we come back to the design of termination and transition. Service life performance of waterproofing. This is the y-axis damage and x-axis ideal waterproofing lifespan or waterproofing lifespan. Here we see that structure is going smoothly as far as the waterproofing performance is concerned, and one would like it to be the same throughout the life of a structure. It doesn't remain so, doesn't happen so. It starts traveling on y-axis, damage takes place, leakages take place, and then the intervention takes place over there. We do the contracting, we do the repairs of waterproofing. Some amount of relief is obtained, and then once again the leakage starts, and like that there are failures, repetitive corrective treatments. Now, what is the cost of this waterproofing? Original cost plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and like this. And ultimately it comes to end of serviceability. Now, though it is a corrective system over here, these repetitive corrective treatments at stage 1 can be avoided if at stage 1 we intervene properly and just do treatments with a proper designing, which in this case is for repairs. So this will be the case, and then lifespan can be enhanced. In that case, the cost will be original cost plus 1. Failures in waterproofing system, all of us have seen different types of failures of waterproofing systems. As many systems, as many structures, the failures of those many types, innumerable. However, there are some which are just shown over here: debonding, then failure at lap joints, failure at lap joints again, debonding at parapet walls, then debonding from base surface, cannot improve the slope but because of certain treatments. And in case heat insulating systems are involved, then this is what happens. This is a base surface, then damage, layer 1, insulation, then second layer of top skid. These are envelopes, yes, but these are independent envelopes, damaged envelopes, one after another, not connected, and that's why it defeats the purpose. Then these are usual signs of leakages that we see: porous external plaster, cracks, untreated separation joints, decorative cluster grooves, tie rod holes. Then the manifestations. Types. Once again, like I said, this is not a big be all and end all of waterproofing system. There are several waterproofing systems existing, and there will be more and more. They will be innovated. There will be more coming on the field. However, I have taken about 4 or 5 the systems which can be just elaborated briefly over here. That means that is taken not as a most effective treatment or something like that. That is a representative, but then the basic principles of all waterproofing systems remain the same: the surface preparation, then application, there are no pinholes, and similar precautions. Surface separation, like I said, site checkpoints for waterproofing. I'll take just only one case in details: crack filling using polymer, any suitable material, then mixing procedure, then application, then prevention during waterproofing. This and this and this should not be done. Then a surface separation week, it is of very prime importance. This can be done like this. That removes the latents, exposes the cracks, removes undulations. These are the exposing the cracks. Exposing the cracks is half the battle won in new structures as well as in existing old structures. Then cleaning, then site checkpoints before waterproofing. We are now dealing with huge areas, and the huge areas, such small things are always not looked at, or inadvertently they are not looked at. Then that creates problems. Whatever is the waterproofing methodology, I mean, the problem cannot be sorted out if these are left there. So these are the reinforcement rods to be cut and removed. Then other one is cut and remove the reinforcement bars which are jetting out. Then there are some level undulations on RCC surfaces. Then they are cut and so some grouting nozzles are there left. They are also to be required to be removed appropriately and sealed. And then we just come about these crack fillings. After crack filling, then we have this mixing. Generally, this acrylic cementitious waterproofing. This is a mixture of polymer and cement. This is a co-matrix of cementitious and polymer. So polymer gives the waterproofing properties, cementitious gives the robust properties. But then both the things are required in this co-matrix, and that's why we need to have proper stirring, proper mixing, and and if that is not there, then the tendency of solid particles settling down and co-matrix being turning into single matrix, that possibility also exists, which we want to avoid. This is a complete system. There is cutouts, the pipes introduced inside. So in order to ensure the bonding of this angular space with the expansive grout, we are doing this. This is expansive. Earlier, only this expansive concrete was to be poured in this annular space. Now, after that, now we are using this highly elastic, highly adhesive waterproofing membrane on that, and then that becomes thoroughly waterproof, and that that 91% and 99.1%. So we are taking care of the cutouts, we are taking care of the coving, and then we are taking care of these vertical and horizontal surfaces. Here, what this man has to check out is the proper covering, proper coverage of the entire area without leaving any pinholes. And then afterwards, this is a protective skid on that. Then after application, the inspection, I have found out that with small steps can go a long way. Just give one magnifying glass to a person, to a supervisor, to an engineer, and just put it in SOP, and then just try and find out in the first initial days that there are pinholes, there are holes, there are bug holes, and don't. Once they are shown to these workmen, they realize they are smarter people. Then after that, no such problem comes and application becomes much better. Then prevention during this type of waterproofing. I mean, what happens that these type of waterproofing, the polymer needs to be cured and set properly, and that happens air curing. And if by any chance the water pipes or anything are leaking on the surface, the uncured polymer gets dissolved, redissolved, and then what you get is washout like this. And then we unnecessarily get into problem. Then we have these construction joints to be taken care. And then this also, I mean, this is becoming less and less. However, this also is a practice. India is a huge country, large country, and there are several sites going on at one point of time. I mean, this man is making this skid mortar or the coating mortar on the treated surface. That should be probably eliminated. Then this is what we are talked about of the vertical surface. Envelope gets complete with vertical and horizontal surface. Envelope gets complete with horizontal as well as vertical. So this is something for vertical. We are use cracks, then cracks are widened and then filled with rigid material. Sometimes they give more number of cracks and the problems keep on occurring. So there are three-step solutions for vertical crack filling using auto suction elastomeric fillers, then acrylic cementitious waterproofing coatings, and then have the decorative aesthetic paint or the coating, which can be added with the properties of heat insulation, added with the properties of waterproofing and algae and fungi, algae resistant. So this is the way it will get attracted, absorbed inside the crack non-destructively, and this happens because of the affinity of calcium ions to this material. So what we do is the first coat here, this is done somewhere outside India. The first coat here is given as a primer coat, but this is with the polymeric cementitious coating, where cementitious cement, and that gives you beautiful finish. At the same time, that gives you assured waterproofing, leakages, and followed by the coating, like I said. Now the testing is DIN 1048, and it's a German code. I mean, it ultimately talks about this is the water pressure, and it is measured over here at 742 various atmospheric water pressure. The water is forced inside, and then the cube is taken out and then it is broken. broken, and the ingress of water is checked. This is DIN 1048, very direct method of waterproofing and checking the materials. Then I talk to you about these acrylic decorative coatings where you get small value additions, and the small value additions can, after that first coat of waterproofing primer, take you to this structures, and then your structures can become vertically waterproof. I want to share a small case study over here. This was a has anybody heard of waterproofing of chairs, plastic chairs? The plastic chairs also were getting damaged by water and of course ultraviolet rays and other aggressive materials. So inclusive of that. And like I said, that heat insulating waterproofing coating afterward, anti-carbonation coating. So this case study talks about all the steps that we discussed earlier. Then if you go a level higher or two levels higher, then we have now this pure polyurethane waterproof coating. And pure polyurethane waterproof coating are now getting popular, and they are giving you more or less long-lasting solution, 100% relief from leakages. Another case, small case, where all the steps will be automatically explained. The largest stadium in the world, again, like Wankhede hurriedly prepared for the visit of American president. Look at the quantity of concrete, huge concrete to be protected. Meteorology, surface preparation, substrate preparation. And like I said earlier, total coordination with all the agencies, Larsen and Toubro, L&T people are working on this, though they were the main contractors. So the good part of this system is it has extraordinary adhesion. Then it is monolithic, one single layer, one single surface, no joints, no lapping, and about elongation point of view, about 600 to 1000% elongation, depending on grades. So these are the fail-safe methodologies which are considered after deliberate and very thorough deliberation on the design matters, on the envelope matters, complete envelope matter, and ultimately coming to this. Then we also, I said that the earlier was 2 levels higher, a level lower probably, but then here also there is a elastomeric waterproofing coating, may not be polyurethane, but then it is, I mean, if I have to show you polyurethane, you can see, I mean, the elasticity is something like this, and it is a liquid, it is not a membrane, and this membrane becomes like this, and one I'm going to show you now is a little less than that. At the same time, it is equally effective. The choice, of course, depends on the design maker or the all surface preparation has been done duly, and then the application of primer. So big surfaces can be done even by mechanical, I mean, by machines.
Hi, Dr. Manjrekar, just to give you the time thing, sorry for that, 10 minutes, and because we have panel discussion also after that, but please continue. Yeah.
The sprinkling of sand for the bonding of protective screed. Then we have preformed membranes. The time is, of course, limited, and I have a couple of things more to cover. The preformed membranes, there are APP membranes, then there are SBS membranes, then HDP membranes. The thing, I mean, this is a SBS membrane. SBS membrane is to be opened like this, and then it is adhesive, self-adhesive from one side. But what you need for all these membranes is a dry surface, thoroughly dry surface, clean surface, and even surface so that the adhesion can be proper. For example, this is a concrete surface where I can just adhere it like this. Of course, the overlapping, etc., is to be taken due consideration in both these. HDP membranes also are similar, and they are also self-adhesive from one side. Remove this tape and they're self-adhesive. Once again, all the precautions of membranes has to be taken into consideration. Then we have crystalline waterproofing. Crystalline waterproofing is every company's formulation, and the basic principle is that the capillaries they get filled up with the crystals with the reaction happening with calcium hydroxide and other hydration products. ACI 212 chapter 15 talks about these integral waterproofing admixtures. Then we have international and national guidelines, specification. Guidelines are different than specifications, but we have both here, national guidelines and specifications for waterproofing. They are more or less same, but then the total reading of these two together makes the information bank complete. So this is ASTM C89801. This is the standard guide for use of high solid content, cold liquid applied elastomeric waterproofing membrane, like the ones we saw, with separate wearing codes. Then we have ASTM C836. This is a specification 003, standard specification for high solid content, cold liquid applied elastomeric waterproofing membrane for use with separate wearing codes. And then we have ACI 515. Here they mention waterproofing consists of surrounding the entire structure with a continuous barrier. Once again, we come back to total envelope. Then we have DIN 1048. We have the German code testing of hardened concrete for waterproofing, and we have seen the setup. Now there are some. Everything has to be ultimately, if it is to be coherent and fused into each other very well, specifications, then the technical BOQ also should be taking not independent steps, but it should be holistic BOQ. So BOQs can be just this is for the bridge decks, then this is for anti-carbonation and waterproofing coatings for external facades. Then this is shrinkage compensation. Then this is for terraces. And there will be many more, but then I only just, I tried to fit it into given time. Then international and national sites, because all this thing is based on how far and how long does the system last. So these are some sites from US. Some sites means you can see in one of the sites I'm standing there. Then there are some sites in Middle East. Then this is something very interesting, because it was very interesting to disseminate the knowledge and teach those people over there. They were very, very receptive. These are Tanzania and then Congo and Ghana. The Middle East, other global projects. I mean, in the midst of the sea, you have to waterproof. That means the envelope has to be still more carefully designed. And in extreme temperatures, snowfall and high temperature, Afghanistan, Kenya, Ethiopia. Then we have national sites. You have, I mean, all this which standing the test of the time. Not only RCC structure, but also this can become, I mean, these consideration of design can become useful for heritage structure. What is also important, I'll go back, that you should be able to, you should, as a matter of practice, go back to the structures and check out the performances periodically. Then these are the heritage structures, and heritage structures are really more difficult to design the waterproofing systems. But then ultimately, if you have the principle in mind, then you can definitely design successfully. In conclusion, takeaways. There are several takeaways, and there will be endless takeaways from everybody's mind, because everybody's system is different. But one thing is for sure, that global cement production is increasing every year. Means the production of concrete is increasing every year. And for this concrete to be durable, waterproofing of structures requires a thorough master design solution, and that master design solution is the key to all successful waterproofing. Hence, waterproofing, a master design solution for concrete durability. And I want to thank you all for having me today and going through this presentation. Thank you.
Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Manjrekar. I'm sure the target audience here, and I can see almost nearly 250 as the audience who have dialed in, possibly singly or group. And thanks for giving a very good perspective. I think starting from national, global references, which you alluded to. And I think the different types of waterproofing, as well as I think the icon of the elephant above ground and below ground. And I can add on to that as positive side and negative side as the extension as well in some cases, and the different types. And we have to remember that in India, we have different geographies, and different geographies with different relative humidities. And within a zone also, you have different types of cement. And I think when you started from cement with the turbomerite, phase, and obviously with high, high fine cement or high strength cement, where C3A content and the others play a very important role. It is also important to know that the concrete is the first thing which we first attend to. And once the concrete is attended to with the right water cement ratio and the famous coefficient of permeability and water cement ratio, or water binder ratio as we would call it today, and the different patterns, in terms of crystal phases which develop in concrete technology, and also construction joints treated. I think this is a very important aspect. There is, of course, no one rule applies to everything, as you have highlighted, and different application methods necessitate very good surface preparation. The codal standards, need to be adopted. The testing methods, the right testing methods need to be adopted as well. And we will have a panel discussion. And thank you very much again for your insights. We have questions building up, but we will field the questions towards the end. But before that, I would like to start off the panel discussion. And I think keeping in view which Dr. Manjrekar had said in his opening slide about why concrete leaks and what are basically the necessity, things to do in terms of investigation. I would say a survey, which is very, very important at the first, and then of course apply the product, whether it's below the ground, above ground, depending on the high water table, depending on whether it's clayey or rocky soil. And obviously, when we talk from individual home building segment right up to infra, because the target audience is not only in one sector, but covers across the gamut of residential, infra, and commercial, above ground, below ground. I think keeping a holistic view, I would like to actually invite again the panelists. So Sanjay is there, Sanjay Bahadur, Global CEO, Construction Chemical, Rajesh Joshi, Managing Director, STP, and Rajiv Gupta from ECMAS, and of course, Dr. Manjrekar, you're there as well. We would like to start off with your views, and the first thing which I would like, and then I would invite Dr. Bahadur for his inputs about what is your view of the evolution of the waterproofing industry, starting from individual house builders right up to the complicated ones in the tunnel or below ground. If you could, say a few words on that. And of course, I will go around and ask then after Rajesh and Rajiv in that order.
All right. I think, good evening, everyone. And I think Dr. Manjrekar has already talked about the fundamentals for all types of structures really. So obviously the chemistry and the systems that are best suited for different type of structures would be different depending on the need, you know, which is there. So individual houses have different needs, tunnels have different needs, or bridge decks have different needs. Large buildings, large spans have different needs. Podiums, landscaping, which have to have green roofing need different waterproofing treatments, etc. So really, if we keep the chemistry aside, the whatever the performance is required, that needs to be understood for the different structures. And the other thing for India, of course, at the mass level, ease of application is extremely critical. The other thing is, whatever be the product, really the key thing is how the application is made. So the application, and there are thousands and tens of thousands of people every day coming into this business, the technicians so-called who apply. And there is no platform where they know how to do it correctly. So those are the other challenges. So what can be done, so as far as evolution is concerned, I think I would like to discuss more from chemistry perspective, because there is need for all these things to coexist for different type of structures. Really, the development of the manpower is going to be the critical thing who apply things correctly. So that a lot of effort is required there. Things have moved over the last 10-15 years. I'm seeing that more and more type of coatings are being used, better way people are adopting, but we still have miles to go. I can't hear you, Nilotpal.
I think it's a very good insight about the chemistry of the different products which are available. And I think from chemistry, you are absolutely, I think, dot on that it has evolved to a great extent and evolving further with green chemistries, etc. And the application and skill development is very important as well, because ultimately the proof of the pudding is in the eating when you apply. And then, otherwise you always have a leaky roof with buckets underneath, be it a multi-storied or high-rise or even an individual house builder. Thank you. I just move over to Rajesh. Rajesh, what are your inputs about the evolution of the waterproofing per se, from the base to the infra, and whatever you need to add within that span?
Yeah. See, waterproofing is I think one of the oldest form of the product into the construction chemical industry. Well, it started with waterproofing first. Everybody, like for example, 30, 40 years, if you go back, people first know what is waterproofing. Then only the admixtures and other products they have come in, sealants and the other products. So this is the oldest form. And a very important fact is that the owner of the flat property or the has to understand whether I spend pre-money, pre-project, or I spend money after the project. Initial period, if you spend money, you spend hardly 2-3%. But if you don't do things right, then the percentage goes to 30-40%. And then a lot of damages, and then you may have to remove the structure, sometimes remove the style, sometimes remove the decoration. And big spend is there. So this is a very important factor people have to understand. As far as the systems are concerned, now over a period of time, systems are evolving. And Dr. Manjak has explained all the systems, like for example, starting from acrylic polymers to the cementitious system, to the highly elastic ceramicous system, then APP is there, then now you have polyurea, then we have membranes like PVC, SDPE, or you can say the other membranes are there, and then PBMA. So the complete range is now available. But very important fact is that here, as Mr. Sanjay Badu said, the application is very important. So now if you just see in this industry last 20-30 years, always you find the problem basically happens with the right kind of the inputs given to the applicators. Though companies, they try to give a right solutions, right information, and we have seen that applicators have developed over a period of time. But I think the very conscious effort need to be put in to make sure that the applicators or the ground level stakeholders, because especially the guys who are at the very bottom level, they have to do a proper application. Then only you get the right solution. Otherwise, always there is a problem. And another factor is very important here is that warranty part. Like what we have seen, that as soon as people will ask for 10 years warranty, and once you give warranty, then they'll forget everything. They feel everything responsibility of the either supplying company or the applicator. So they have to really understand, compared to my project, what is my expectation, moderate level or lower level or premium level kind of a waterproofing system, what I want. But very important is that the applicator who's going to do that job and how it is supervised perfectly, and then you're going to deliver the product. And at the same time, into the structures, like most of the things are covered here, but nowadays, if you see the tiles, like for example, if you go for the bathrooms or flooring, they have to ensure that the joints of the tiles are perfectly filled. Then only the leakage will stop, so the water will not go to the bidding motor. In terms of the windows, and if you see the other openings in the flat, a proper sealant should be applied so that there are no leakages. And at the same time, on the roof also, the proper detailing need to be done, the termination need to be done properly, or especially the joint need to be properly treated so that there is no leakage. So the lot of detailing is required. At the same time, I feel personally, who as an industry will have to really work on to the applicator segment for their development and ensuring that the right knowledge is passed on to them so that the end customer can get a right solution, and we as a company supplying product supplying companies get the final satisfaction, and the issue of this guarantee and warranty definitely will be there, but end customer should get value for his money. That's what I feel.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rajesh, for your inputs, and especially on the application and the supply and apply and the guarantee warranty and the requirement based on the need. Yeah, which is very important. And I will come back again the second round saying how do we spread the awareness to understand what is really required by the customer? How does the customer understand that? So that will be the second part. But I'll just ask again our third panelist, Rajiv Gupta of ECMAS. What is your view on the evolution of waterproofing across sectors? Yes, Rajiv.
Sir, you are on mute.
I am not on mute. Rajiv is on
Rajiv
mute.
ji is on mute.
Sorry.
Rajiv, can you unmute?
Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Sanjay Bahadur and Mr. Majrekar and Mr. Rajesh has already discussed, waterproofing industry has already evolved a lot over last 3 decades. But still, we have a long miles to go. Despite of lot of advanced materials development in terms of construction techniques, advanced construction equipments, everything is there. Still, we are facing early deterioration of our structures. So we need to understand the basics, and we have to address the waterproofing at the design stage itself, so that we do not face the problem of early deterioration at a later stage. Either we invest today or we invest heavily in repairs. Buying concrete is very cheap, but maintaining concrete over the years, over the life cycle of the structure is very costly. If we don't pay sufficient attention in the beginning, we have to pay later on. So the selection of right material and its correct application, that is the crux of right waterproofing. And waterproofing is essential to ensure the durability of the any concrete structure, especially if it is RCC structure, which is involving steel.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so I come back again. Yeah, this time I go around in a little bit of a detail in the sense that we've understood the chemistries and how it has evolved, and I think every company or every manufacturer makes its honest endeavors to give the best possible chemistry suiting. How do you actually transfer that knowledge is very important, be it clients, be it contractors. Obviously every company would like to develop the applicators, train them up, but there is a I don't know. I personally feel that there is a gap to reach it to the masses. Yeah. And whichever market you're catering to, whether it is the mid segment or the low segment or the higher segment, even basic waterproofing by crystallization, etc. Is there anything the industry as such can do to your thinking, which can work collectively to make it like, codal provisions, codes of practice, etc., because most of it is either ACI or DIN, etc. And of course, we have a few in India, but maybe not self-sufficient. And then we talk about so many different types of tests required, etc., etc. So, Sanjay Bahadur Saab, what do you feel about this? This
In
bringing
my,
it to
yeah,
market?
I get your point. I think, see, codes for materials, it may comply with any international code is all right. Really, what is more important for our country are two, in my view. Number one is we should have, see, there, let's say for various end users, we may require, say, 100, 150 solutions, whatever different. They should be standardized through a BOQ system, which is, available and suitable for across the industry, across. There should be standard BOQs for all sorts of applications on a generic terms. That's number one, because that's one of the places where we keep making mistakes. The second one is we have masons, carpenters, whatever, and many other type of people, but really we need waterproofers as a professional. And we keep talking about applicators, different companies keep doing trade, but that is only limited use. We have to we have to look at the training of the guy who is holding the torch or who is holding the brush or the roller, and have a database of those people, and they should be called as waterproofers certified by some agency, and that's what we need to inculcate. So as an industry, if we have to work, we have to tie up with maybe some body like CIDC or somebody, and decide let's develop 100,000 waterproofers. They may work for whichever company, whichever applicator company, because they keep changing, but their skills, and then they have to keep improving their skills, etc. That is more critical, and that is not happening.
Thank you. This is a very, I think, very relevant point. Yeah. Moving over to Rajesh, your views on this.
As Mr. Sanjay said, the training of these people is not happening in a very structured way. Number one, like for example, we have associations like CCMA. In fact, in CCMA in the past also various time I have given sessions to our shareholders that we should really work onto this kind of a body, because there are so many companies involved. And as we know that the product technologies are in place, but the applicators are really not, especially at the lower end. So as he said very rightly, there are no, like you have people like painter, you have carpenter, but you must have not heard the term waterproofer. So basically now what we have to do, what we have to make sure that those people are properly trained. And already he has mentioned about CIDC, that's what the name which was coming in my mind. And I think CIDC is not only a government one of the organization, but there could be a many. We'll have to really find out, or basically, especially into the civil engineering college or a diploma civil engineering college, we should have one particular course on this, that or a topic on this, how the waterproofing, this is the technology, these are the BOQs, how they are done. So that the engineers who are coming, they themselves are properly trained so that the implementation become very easy. And these are all companies in this field, because waterproofing is the biggest segment today into the construction chemical after the admixture. They should invest onto this and see that the applicators for the lower segment, mid segment, and the premium segment, how they are thoroughly trained, and there are procedures set. And one more thing is that what are the do's and don'ts, which really not seen. I have seen that one presentation of Mr. Manjrekar, when the application has been done for the surface, and somebody is doing the mixing of that particular copper there itself, and he's breaking that system. So do's and don'ts are not followed, and then ultimately the company is held responsible that there is a leakage, now you come and repair it. I have seen in myself in one of the project exactly what has happened. If for a project they were asking for a basically a roof where they wanted a basically UV resistant system exposed to the system. Our company applied the product, very good application. The consultant did a passing, what the test was done, everything was approved, and we all left. Suddenly the owner decided, no, no, let us put the tiles on this. And the applicator was asked to put the tiles. He has put in the tiles, he has made the copa there itself, he has entirely damaged that system. And when the leakage started, he started catching us. So we have to make sure that the do's and don'ts are very thoroughly told to people so that they avoid. And all are saying that in the beginning time only we have to invest while making the structure. But once the structure is ready, then the repair and everything become very expensive. So we have to have maybe some of the codes also can be modified to see that these things are required. Without this, you can't go ahead. Now I think RERA is there as far the building structures are there. So with this RERA, already I have seen a lot of builders and developers, they are being serious of really delivering because they have to give warranties or guarantees for a certain period of time. So they are now serious and they are ready to listen to you, the system. Because earlier days, the developers were only interested in getting warranty. They were not interested in looking for a right solution because they were thinking if any problem comes, I can catch hold of this applicator or this company. But now the trend has changed. So now these changes in the laws there definitely will really help. And with the knowledge what we have, it can modify the systems and see that how best user-friendly systems to be given. Because I have seen in Europe, if you foreign countries, if you go, there are people who are doing do it yourself. So India, the do it yourself concept is still not there. Very limited people are doing on there because we have a labor available. So here, the training of those people and giving the right solution with a very easy solution at especially lower end of the strata where you don't have to do a lot of mixing, a lot of things. Simple solution like instead of going for 2-pack system, if you can have 1-pack system, it will be easier so that it doesn't make mistake while mixing. Otherwise, you will find people mixing only one component, applying it, and the blame is comes on a company. So we'll have to give a right solution to the people and make sure that the right trainings, good institute. At the same time, we'll have to simplify the process. That's what I feel.
Thank you, Rajesh. Yeah, and I also know of a couple of companies who have now gone to the extent of even coming up with booklets in 27 languages or whatever, yeah, to make it more user friendly. Because these are the small basic things which people can follow. I know people always talk about higher chemistries, like we say, yeah, polyurea, cross-linking, etc. I think the grassroots level has to be brought up to a certain level, yeah. Now let's move on to ECMA's Mr. Rajiv Gupta. You would like to say a few things on this, topic which is going on.
Yes, sir. I will answer this in three parts, as already very well explained by Mr. Bahadur and Mr. Rajesh Joshi. First part is putting more and more focus towards developing awareness about criticality of waterproofing. Although a lot of work has been already done, a lot of awareness has come, but still most of the developers, builders and consultants don't take waterproofing too seriously. So there is a lot of need to educate the importance of waterproofing among the construction community. That is one. Second, standardization of BOQ items, as Mr. Sanjay Bahadur has correctly said. Until unless we standardize the BOQ specifications for each and every kind of project and each and every kind of application, which product is suitable for what application and how it should be applied. So that standardization is very, very essential. And third part is the training and sharing of the knowledge, which is very, very important. So all these things has to be done simultaneously to achieve the overall objective.
Thank you. I will go around the panelist one more time, and this time I will also ask towards the end Dr. Manjrekar. Now we have titled this a master design solution for concrete durability. So everybody is eager to know, yeah, that what does it really portray to the target audience who basically are in this webinar, to take away a few things. So, Mr. Bahadur, would you like to share?
I think Mr. Manjrekar should answer this, isn't it?
Yeah. We will come to him. That's why I said last.
Can't let him
Definitely.
He has been kind to consider me this time.
Yeah, so from your perspective, Dr. Bahadur, what is your? It's quite a catchy one. You've got master, you've got design, you've got solution, you've got concrete, you've got durability.
But Mr. Nirotha, I would still urge you to ask the speaker.
Okay, so since Sanjay is insisting, yeah, Dr. Manjrekar.
Sanjay wants to catch me on the right foot.
Yeah, right foot.
No, thank you. I mean, yes, I just wanted to say something. Basically, 2 or 3 things or 4 things which have come out, they are probably were the backbone of the presentation also. That number one is the philosophy. Everybody has agreed that designing the system properly and enveloping the object is the beginning. Then trainer, I did not touch training in this presentation because it was more of a waterproofing, I thought, but then on hindsight, the training also should have been considered in my presentation. Training of applicators, I mean, it is very necessary. But then, and again, another important point that I just found out that it was in the presentation also, and also just elaborated by Dr. Sanjay, that BOQ systems, now BOQ systems should be, of course, generic, not specific, but unless that that prototype is there, the things are going to be, because there are, like he only mentioned that there are several agencies coming up every day by every going day and new things. The person should not get, the end user should not get sort of confused. So I think right choice of material, that some guidelines should be there, training, some guidelines should be there, and proper BOQ system. And all this happens on some philosophy. Philosophy is envelope. And unless you make everybody, including the user, and whatever career it is, I mean, high end, low end, that envelope is what is your solution is, and no shortcut. That is not going to, I mean, that is going to work more effectively. And people, my experience is this, that people are now more educated, more receptive, they're more tired of the problems, and they are ready to accept the concept of enveloping. Thank you. Thank you, Nilotpal.
Nilotpal, you are on, your frame is frozen, I think.
Maybe some network issue.
Nilotpal sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Now I can hear you. Yeah, I think
I concluded, Nilotpal.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You can go ahead with the next question.
Yeah. So, the next question is obviously answering to the people who've been waiting for us. Yeah,
right.
To basically, so if I could request the host to kindly display the question, and we can go sequentially. And this time I ask, whoever wants to, I mean, I will moderate it, but please feel free to also jump in and leave your opinion. So if you could kindly display the questions, please.
So there's a Q&A section.
Yeah, the problem is my Q&A box or chat box, I think that is gone.
No, you have to just click the whole screen, it will come, it will is down. Full screen.
Nilotpal, while you are looking at that, I have one interesting question here located. Can I just butt in?
Please.
Yeah, this is from probably one of the international attendees, Sui Ham Wang, and he is asking you, would it be possible to know if additional coating will be required for structures near seawater? Marine structures is another important thing, like bridge decks I mentioned about. So my reaction to this is, like we talked about in the presentation, that whether can concrete itself be impermeable, and then what role does tobramide play there? So that similarly in seawater, what we are looking at is the smallest of the punctures, or the abrasion, or injury, the chlorides will go in, and what it will attack is steel. I mean, leave the concrete beside. So when it will attack the steel, I think this should be again a logical solution that makes something inside the concrete which is corrosion resistant. I mean, there are bipolar corrosion inhibiting admixture for that matter, and they are very effective first generation, second generation, third generation, and then that should be followed by these two coatings, because otherwise endless number of coatings, if they are abraded or they are just damaged, then they are going to just create the water in the roads in the concrete. So that's what my thinking would be on this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Manjrekar. Uh, I have a question here. What is the recommended elongation for toilets, terraces, and podiums? I mean, is there a single answer to this? So, Rajesh, you'd like to take this? I mean, anyone for that matter, but we will
What is the
try to.
question?
The question is, what is the recommended elongation for toilets, terraces, and podiums? I'm assuming this is recommended elongation for waterproofing systems, for toilets, terraces, and podiums.
I think Dr. Manjrekar will be able to give better answer.
What crosses my mind is, Nilotpal and Rajesh, what crosses my mind is, ultimately the elongation depends on the crack width, or how the structure is going to behave. And for that, I mean, toilet and bathrooms, I mean, we have three conditions. Dry conditions, Nagpur-like area. I'm talking something differently away from toilets. Dry conditions like Nagpur, then coastal conditions like Mumbai and similar places, and in between. So they are given in IS code or in ACI 316. They are given 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3 millimeters as the defining crack widths of the structure, tolerable widths. Now, if we can take care of, I consider this as a marine structure. And if marine structure, if you consider, then the maximum crack width allowable is 0.1. Just make the basic concrete like that if you can. And if you cannot, then in that case, at least do the allowance for 0.3 and beyond in your elongation. That's what my thinking would be.
Yeah, I think I will also substantiate that, you have cracked and uncracked sections, yeah. And of course, depending upon the type, sometimes you have precast as well. Yeah, that has a different way of, cracking as well. And to fit the right for purpose, it's very important, to be very clear about what type of cracking and what is the structure, what is the substrate. Is it so when you're talking about terrace, obviously terrace, you require a higher elongation than you would require in a toilet. And in podium, depending upon the size of the podium and where it is, you would definitely, harp on the crack width, which is a very, very important aspect. Yeah. And I think many of the things, sometimes we tend towards elongation, which is of course right. But at the same time, we will also have to understand whether the system is resilient enough to take crack width 0.1, 0.2, or 0.3 millimeter. So I hope, Kayastha, we have some information there. There is a question here. Is it possible to share the PDF of the current presentation? I leave it to the speakers and obviously the organizers to basically respond to that. Shailendra Patil has a question. What efforts as a manufacturer are being made to actually make sure that a qualified applicator is representing the brand to ensure the application is proper? I mean, we have different manufacturers, but today I have a better position that I am moderator. So I will basically throw the question across and of course jump in. So Dr. Manjrekar or Rajiv, would you like to go? What efforts as a manufacturer are being made to ensure that qualified applicator is representing the brand with the right information and ensuring that the application is proper?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nilotpal. Having a right applicator on the job is essential for the success of any waterproofing, be it a small individual home or be it a high-rise building or any infrastructure project. So the experience and skills of the applicator is very, very important. Choosing a right applicator therefore becomes very important part of overall system and solution. So it is a big challenge for the manufacturers to provide a trained and right applicator, and in that, in case we are able to train more and more applicators, that certainly helps the entire construction industry. And while choosing the applicator, the training, number of years of experience, and the type of exposure in terms of different of type of projects, that is very, very important. Because if you choose a wrong or inexperienced and professional applicator, despite of using or giving the best solution, it is bound to fail. So as manufacturer, we should always pay a lot of attention while recommending a applicator to any client.
Okay, thank you. We have Himanshu Tambat. Is curing required for cementitious waterproofing compound, Dr. Manjrekar?
Yeah, as I mentioned there in the first slide there, cementitious polymeric waterproofing treatment, it is the co-matrix of cement as well as water, as well as polymer. Now, polymer part of that cures first and then cement keeps on curing. And cement is a very bare in very small proportion. So what is required is the air cure for that particular type of a thing, and there is no water. Water should be in fact avoided for first 48 hours to 72 hours, so that the membrane and the interweaving of the cement hydrated product and the polymer takes place properly. Success is much better.
Yeah. So as Dr. Manjrekar said, that first the polymer needs to form the co-matrix, for which it is better that we only have a condition where there is no evaporation loss. So you can cover it with a damp cloth, but no ponding water, if I have read Dr. Manjrekar correctly.
Yeah.
And
by
then,
mistake, sorry to interject. By mistake, if the water is let loose, then what happened? Also, we saw that the polymer, which is still uncured, becomes dissolved. It gets dissolved and just it becomes useless. Nilotpal.
I think sir is facing some connectivity issue. I'll try and contact him.
yeah, I'm sorry. I think there is a bad network in my place. Yeah. Okay.
So I have concluded there.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So C and CR, can you read the question, because my chat goes off and then when it reboots, then all the questions disappear. So if you could help, then we will just take another 2-3 questions.
There is a question from Mr. Bhushan Sendane. During rainy season, when we are using polyurethane coatings, if unfortunately there is raining before final set of polyurethane coating, but after track-free time, is there any
After
procedure
tax-free
to?
time.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any procedure to rectify this type of damaged coating?
I think Dr. Manjrekar or
What I could say here is all these, stitch in time saves nine. You have to do all these treatments much before such eventualities, come into existence in a fair season, and that's where they get their life. In such season where there is a shower and there is a leakage, then in that case, you have to resort to emergency waterproofing, and that's where when you get slight opening of the monsoon, but then that is not a durable solution. The durable solution is to do it before time, right time, properly.
okay. Thanks. Next question again is what type of waterproofing coating is suitable when the structure is exposed to extreme cold like -10 degrees?
You aimed at whom?
Sorry?
So you have to choose systems which will work at that temperature. There are a lot of systems which work at -10 or -20 or -25.
Yeah.
The one is to choose.
Sanjay, that's where the design comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope that question has answered, because it will depend upon the design requirements and what is required and where the coating is going to be applied. Okay. There's a question from Vivek Chavan. Which type of waterproofing is recommended for terrace where there are storage of solvent tanks and pumps? Currently, we are following brickbat waterproofing plus acid-proof tile flooring. So waterproofing recommended for terrace where they are using this. One second. I think he's again blocked out the question. Sorry. Okay, let's go to the next one. Which grade of cement is preferable for polymer cement coating?
Either of the same.
Rajesh, Rajiv.
Either of this, there is no specific, because we have seen people are using either of the grade. There is no specific grade required for what cementitious coating. And your earlier question, I said that maybe a polyurea could be a better solution.
Okay.
Urea for the roof. What
For the
last
roof.
Yeah.
-10. Yeah.
No, not -10. I said for the roof where you
Oh, for the solvent one. Yeah, for the chemical resistance,
Polyurea
it's always good to
better.
have polyurea type. Yeah.
Kind of systems can be better solutions.
Yeah.
Actually, there was some anomaly in that question in the sense that they are using acid-resistant tiles for that.
Brickbat with acid-resistant
Acid-resistant tile. And of course, that also includes the acid-resistant sort of pointing material. I would assume that. However, I think that is unwarranted, because when solvents are used, solvents are not having actions like acids. So for solvents, you need something else. Maybe these quartzite tiles or these tiles, they will be also resistant to solvent, but basically maybe other option also can be found out. Coming back to another question, that polymer and cementitious, which cement should be used? This is not a very, very sensitive matter, because we are using very small amount of cement in this only to create the co-matrix. Obviously, if you have this pozzolanic cement, that is better, but then otherwise, even by chance pozzolanic is not available, we are only using say 0.5 kilos per 1 kilo of polymer. Any cement can be used for that matter.
I think the ultimate thing is to achieve a certain performance in terms of coefficient of permeability or bond or whatever the other properties which are listed out for waterproofing coatings. So as much as you can, even if you use less cement and you're using other additives, etc., ultimately it's the manufacturer's recipe to give you a desired performance, which is most important.
Right.
Yeah. We have another question from Prachi Gupta. For bridge repair jobs, structural strengthening projects, how to monitor the health of structure over the period of time? Are we looking for a technology to support to monitor the health of such projects? Okay. So I would restrict this to waterproofing, yeah, rather than also, but then of course some repair systems can be waterproofing as well. So Dr. Manjrekar, would you like to take this? So talking about structural health monitoring of projects over a period of time when you
I
do a
think,
technology.
like I mentioned earlier, there are several important structures. One of them is bridges, and C and CR. I was talking to Prabir before we started this discussion that the next topic could be on bridge repairs and bridge deck waterproofing. However, bridge deck waterproofing is very important, and it has been tackled in various countries in a various way. A very simple and very fondly used or very largely used is having these APP membranes in between, and then having the final decking material. To my mind, once again, to do it at the time of construction, it is better than do it as a repair. But when you want to do it as a repair, you must remove the entire layer and try and do it monolithically. And bridges being the always external surface, I mean, you have to just give proper allowances for expansion and contraction.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And we have here a very interesting question. How to check the quality of SDR at site? So let me ask Rajesh if you can handle this question.
I think one is that we can do a test, litmus test. That is one of the options. Normally, what happens here, the percentage of volume solid is very important, and generally people sell this product based on the volume solids. Two types of the polymers are generally used. This one is acrylic, another is SPR base, and this all depends on the way the consultants are pushing that. So our observations are that key in western region mostly the acrylics are going, northern region mostly acrylic going. For other regions, people are going for the SBR based system. So checking at a site for solid content is a little difficult. Only maybe you can do a test, check the pH, and check the viscosity, and basically you can check the bonding properties. But otherwise, there are no specific tests available to do at site to check the polymer, because sometimes to increase the volume solid, some of the suppliers they add some additives by which the volume solid goes up. So ultimately, whatever they claim that can be justified, but actually it is no real polymer. So maybe that we will have to do in a test house only. It's not possible at our site.
Okay, thank you. Another very interesting question. Can you give us, okay, so the question here is about failure of projects, yeah, waterproofing cases. So, and I'm not sure whether, in my 35 years experience, having spent almost half the time overseas, I am requesting for you to give us the reason why waterproofing failure cases exist in India only and why. And I believe if we know it's everywhere, but I'm more than happy for you to field this question.
No, they exist everywhere, and one has to understand.
Across the globe.
Yeah, and in fact, this year we did couple of large seminars just talking about our failures where we have seen and learnings out of it. The key thing is that failures might happen, but what do you learn and how do you change what you do? That is what one is.
Yeah, and I think when we look at the title, even master design and all, it starts all from the basics, which is concrete. Water cement ratio, concrete joints, joint detailing. What are the products? Where do you apply for the positive side, negative side? What is the access? And what is the most practical solution? How do you treat construction joints? And as you go from basement to top, what are the different things which you can think about, and basically follow the proper surface preparation. In fact, follow the BOQ and use really applicators who really know the job. Yeah. The other one is, and I leave this to everybody to answer this, any center for training to applicators?
Yes. CIDC is one of the company. They are having the institute in Delhi. They do a training. What is good about them? They go across states and select the candidates, and they are having various stages for a training. And sometimes they give us some stipend also. And I have seen some of the companies, they do sponsor of the products or sponsor training. So there is one agency, so they are doing the training in Delhi, CIDC.
Okay, good. I'll just take another couple of questions before we close this. A gentleman, Mr. Mushir Khan, has said, do we need to consider the total surface of area? That means the extent or size before selecting any waterproofing coating. That means if the, let's say the roof is 10,000 square feet, and if the roof is, let's say, 2,000 square feet, does it depend on the size or whatever? So,
Should I
Dr.
answer
Manjari?
this?
Yeah. Rajiv, please go ahead.
So while selecting a waterproofing system for any area, be it terrace, be it podium, or be it toilet, we need to consider 2, 3 basic things. One is the size or the span which we have to waterproof. Because bigger or smaller is the size, it will affect the expansion and contraction. Means bigger the size, there will be more thermal movements, more thermal stresses. So we need to have a good system which has better crack bracing ability, better elongation, better tensile strength. Similarly, we also need to look at the exposure conditions. Means what type of exposure conditions are expected. If it is just a roof waterproofing, we can go for a certain system. Maybe simple polyurethane coating is good enough. But if it is a landscaping area with continuous exposure to water and exposure to pesticides and different kind of chemicals, we need a little better system. Polyurethane is one option. We can go for polyurea or any other kind of liquid applied systems. So size definitely matters, but in addition to size, the exposure conditions and application, that is equally important.
Yeah, thank you for that. The other one is about a performance warranty and guarantee. So this is again anonymous.
I think we lost him again.
He's probably speaking from a hill station. I don't know.
Yeah, it always is problem.
I think there are 89 more questions. So I think maybe it may not be possible to answer anyway. Maybe if the questions could be answered in writing to the people who have sent, because CECR will have their websites, the email addresses, so we can respond accordingly, right?
Yes, sir, we can do that. We can send the unanswered questions to the panel, and you can take up the questions whichever is suitable to you.
Yeah. Okay. So, then,
I will request you all to please wait for Mr. Kar so that he can conclude the session. Please wait for 5 minutes, sir. So Mr. Nalarpol Kaur is back again with us to conclude the session.
Where it says, Yes, I think we have too many interruptions. Can I request the organizer? I think we will run out of question, and if I go on off, it'd be very difficult. The last question is about warranty guarantee. So people say when you give warranty guarantee, it's 10 years or 15 years, but why not 9 years or 7 years or 11 years? I
So
think.
guarantee and warranty is basically peace of mind, as I said earlier in my. And basically, this is a practice which has been followed for almost more than 30 years, because I remember when 30 years back I entered the industry, that time also there is a warranty of 10 years only. So it has not changed. And it all depends on the now how the system you give. But definitely, we can have a clear cut classification. At the same time, people are asking why warranty, that they want a peace of mind. That is why they ask for this. But if you educate the applicators and do right solutions, I'm sure the consent get reduced and they will ask this for the performance of the systems. So there is no specific reason why not 8 or 9 or 10. This is a trend has set from so many years.
Yeah.
I think now, Nilotpal, can I talk?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think now with the modern technology and modern systems getting set in and education growing up in workforce also, warranty would remain like we have heard from Rajesh, peace of mind, but it should be, warranty should be underperforming and overperforming and under promise. For example,
Exactly.
it
So
should be
under
10 years.
promising and over delivering.
Yeah, it should be 10 years, yes, peace of mind, but with the technological development, to my mind, and for example, the stadium like Motera and this Narendra Modi, you don't do it again and again and again. So you have to look at how it will last for more number of years
Yes.
and now it is possible. Now this is
Yes,
possible.
absolutely. 30, sometimes some of the products say in 30 years warranty also.
Yeah, especially when you have some of the dynamic movement, yeah, coupled with static movement. And you know, when you sit on the steps of the stadium, right, there is quite a lot of movement, and you have to fit in a certain type and chemistry, and obviously you have to formulate something which responds and resonates with the substrate. Yeah. Okay. I think last question is, can waterproofing coating be applied directly on AAC blockwork in case of toilet waterproofing, or first plaster coat is a must?
Jumble.
Man, Dr. Manjrekar?
Now this question is quite tricky. AAC block is a
It's a googly.
totally porous material. And once again, of course, I mean, it will be much better than not having anything. 100%, no doubt about that. But when that gets injured or that gets damaged by some reason or the other, then we have all open terrain. So it will help. It will surely help.
Yeah. You can apply it on a plaster because the plaster will take the first absorption, and then you can apply something.
My take on that would be just make one coat of plaster, give this waterproofing coating as a sandwich, and then finish the second coat of plaster.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else? Any views on this? Rajesh, you're there, and
Yeah. As a
Rajiv.
basic principle, waterproofing has to be applied on a sound substrate. So normally, like AAC blocks are very weak and very porous. So if we apply any kind of waterproofing, be it cementitious, acrylic, or polyurethane, it is bound to fail until unless we make it sound. So providing a rich cement plaster before applying waterproofing can help, but that is also not a guarantee, because it has been observed in many cases where AC blocks construction has been used and the walls itself has got cracked. So achieving sound substrate is very, very important. That has to be ensured before we do any waterproofing treatment.
So I think let's conclude.
His frame is
Okay.
again frozen there. Yeah.
So Nilotpal, let us conclude this.
Yeah. Sorry, I am going in and out here because of whatever reasons.
What we
So I request the organizer. Thank you very much, Dr. Manjrekar, Dr. Bahadur, Rajiv, and as well as Rajesh for your valuable inputs. And I'm sure it has enlightened quite a bit of the target audience. I'm sure that waterproofing is an unending subject, and you can go on and on. Yeah. So over to you, and thank you very much for your time, as well as the audience, who've been a lovely audience and posted so many questions, and we've been able to handle maybe 20, 25 of them, but I'm sure you can reach out to the respective organizations and you can have your answers as well. Yeah, I'm sure CECR will organize many more in the coming days. Yeah. So over to the CECR organizers, please.
As a speaker, Nilotpal, I thank you and thank the panelists, distinguished panelists.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. As we come to the closure of this webinar on the topic, waterproofing, a master design solution for concrete durability, we would like to thank our esteemed speaker, panelists, and moderator for coming together and making it a learning success. We also thank our audience for their huge participation. Stay tuned for our upcoming webinar on February 2023. Thank you once again.
Thank you.